So, welcome to our first day in this challenge. Today is about breath awareness and core engagement. So, we're going to take a few moments just to focus on the breath as it enters the body and exits. And we're going to set ourselves up so we are finding a neutral spine position. Neutral may be referred to as a straight spine at some points during this challenge, but really all I'm asking for is to try and reduce or limit the over curvature of your spine. So for myself, I actually have quite a pronounced arch in my lower back. So this feels quite natural for me to sit in for long periods of time. However, it's not conducive for a safe practice. So I begin by drawing my belly button into my spine just to help limit that lower curvature of the spine. For yourself, for those of you that sit at desks for long hours of the day, you might find that you have a big curvature in your upper back. And all I'm going to ask of you is that we try to neutralize and reduce or minimize that curvature in the spine. So we're looking for a nice natural S bend in the spine. That's what I'm referring to when I say a neutral spine. So let's begin with some breath awareness, and then we're going to mobilize the spine to make it more pliable and more comfortable to move. And then we're going to go into the main body of this practice. So join me in a nice comfortable position, either in kneeling or cross-legged, whatever works for you. All you're going to need is a nice space, clear from obstructions, and your mat today. And a little bit of water to stay hydrated. So join me in a little bit of breath awareness, taking the inward breath through the nostrils. And as you breathe out, you're breathing through pursed lips as though you're blowing out a row of candles. So something like this. Nice controlled breath out into the nostrils, filling up the lungs, breathing into the base of the rib cage and expanding the rib cage out to the side. It should feel like you're breathing into the back of the ribs with the inward breath. So as you work through this breath, that outwards expansion of the rib cage is really minimizing that rise of the chest. We're trying to keep that neutral spine, like I mentioned. So we're breathing outwards laterally and deep into the base of the ribs. Finding length through the spine as though you're being drawn upwards through the crown of your head and grounding through the tailbone. With the next outward breath, gently tuck the chin as we begin to mobilize the upper spine. And inhale, untuck the chin. So we're dropping the chin to that little bony part of our clavicle and untucking with the breath in. We'll do 2 or 3 more of these head nods. And last one, finding a position right in between that nod. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the ground, below the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. So gently spread the fingers and keeping that neutral position through the head and the expansion of your chest. We're going to inhale, take the right hand on the outside or the back of the head. And as we exhale, we're twisting and drawing the elbow across the body. Inhale, open the chest, draw the elbow up to the sky. So we're looking for that rotation through the mid-spine, that thoracic region of the spine. Really synchronizing the movement with the breath. And let's do one more. You might feel a bit stiff or a bit clunky. That's okay. We're just warming up. Set the right hand down. Take the left hand behind the head. And with the exhale, twist across the body. Trying to keep the hips centered. So as you twist, you're not hiking the hips to the side. By keeping the hips centered, you are ensuring that that rotation is happening through the mid-spine. And last one, twist to open. Find that neutral spine, set the hands back down. Exhale, round the back, drawing the belly button upwards into the spine for cat. And then inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest towards the front of the mat. So as you're rounding the back, you're looking for loads of space in between each section of your spine. And as you drop the belly, lift the chest, you're really stretching out the front of the body. So rounding the back, stretching out the back of the body, arching the spine, stretching out the front of the body. It's almost like you're sending a wave through the spine as you bend and flex. Last one, rounding the back. And then relaxing, find a nice neutral spine once more. So you can set your weight onto your heels if that feels good for you. And we're going to transition onto our bums. Legs extended. And if there's a little bit of a pull on your hips, feel free to have a slight bend in the knees. But ideally, we're trying to glue the back of our legs into the mat. Taking the arms out in front of us, relaxing through the shoulders, tucking the hips, and gently rolling down halfway through the spine. You're looking for that connection through the back of your legs, and we're drawing the lower back towards the ground. Exhale through pursed lips, roll up through the spine, nice, long, and tall. Inhale, roll down. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, roll up, length through the spine, drawing upwards through the crown of the head. And one more, roll down halfway and hold for 5, 4, 3. Slowly rolling all the way down to the ground with control. Reposition yourself in the middle of the mat, pulling the heels in towards your buttocks. Bring the arms out to the side, twisting the hips over to the left, looking over the right shoulder. Keep the back of the arms and the shoulders grounded. Exhale through pursed lips to draw up to center. Inhale to twist to the opposite side. You're looking for that twisting or rotational stretching through the lower back as we mobilize that section of the spine. And to bring this into your abdomen and start to work the obliques. As you come back to center, bring the legs to tabletop and continue that rotation over to the side. So now we're really starting to fire up the obliques and the deep abdominal muscles. So your deep muscles are like a corset for your lower back. And as you draw the hips to center, imagine pulling your belly button down towards the ground, pulling the hips back to center, and then controlling as you twist over to the side. Let's do one more each side. Staying connected with the breath. Then bringing the hips to center, arms down by your side, keeping the legs in tabletop. We're drawing the right leg down to the ground, tapping the toes on the ground, and then pulling back in. Just the right leg. Remember, you're keeping the hips tucked, so you get that slight lowering or dropping of the hips, and your lower back is glued to the ground. One more tap with the right leg, bring back to tabletop, and switch side. So your hip position is tilted towards you, and that's helping to draw the lower spine down into the ground, and you should get this shortening sensation between the rib cage and the hips. And what we're doing is we're engaging the core and really setting a fire to the deep abdominal muscles. You're doing well. You're going to feel the thighs warm up as well. We'll do one more. Bring the legs back to center, and then gently set both feet down on the ground. Pull your heels in towards your fingertips. Tilt your hips towards you, feel your spine pull downwards into the ground, and then gently lift both hips, pushing through both legs nice and even. You're peeling the spine each section at a time, coming into shoulder bridge. Inhale through the nostrils, roll back down, one section at a time. Imagine that your spine is like this chain, and you're setting each link of the chain down on the ground, and then peeling each link up one at a time as you lift through the hips, squeezing through the glutes, open the hips, rolling down with control. We're looking for stability in the hips and the shoulders. Because the shoulders are on the ground, you're getting that stability and support from the ground, but the hips are where you really have to work. Last lift, big squeeze. We're pausing at the top, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, gently rolling back down through the spine, and then drawing the thighs in towards the chest. Gently decompress the lower back and extend both legs, gently stretching out the back of the thighs. Just going to pull towards the chest to lengthen the back of the thighs and stretch them out. Bend the knees and set the feet down. We're rolling into a side position, so coming onto the right hand side, and you're resting your head on your upper arm. You want your hips and shoulders to be stacked, so they're stacked on top of one another. And we're gently drawing the belly button in towards the spine to engage the core, tucking the hips just a little bit. So I'm pulling my thighs towards my chest, coming into this side laying position. And then I'm opening the thighs for clamshells, squeezing through the glutes, but keeping the hips and shoulders stacked. So as we separate the thighs, the hips are not rolling backwards and the shoulders aren't rolling forwards. We're keeping everything nice and neutral. Slowly close the thighs and then open. So exhale to open, inhale through the nostrils to close. So as we open, we're really focusing on that tension through the outer glute, and then controlling as we close. Remember, this is about that core engagement and the connection between breath and movement today. So really focus on the quality of movement as opposed to the range, being able to open the leg as much as possible or even the amount of reps. This is really about the quality. So if you do 7 or 8 really good quality movements, keeping that alignment, then you're on the right track. Last one, open and hold. Feel free to check in with your alignment. And if you ever feel like you've fallen out of it, then just gently bring yourself back into alignment. Slowly close the thighs and let's transition onto the opposite side. So the principle is the same. Rest the head on your upper arm. Stack the shoulders and the hips. Gentle core engagement, tilting the hips towards you, drawing the belly button into the spine. Breathing out through pursed lips as you open the thighs. Big squeeze of the glutes. Inhale through nostrils as you close. Really focus on that quality and that contraction through the glutes. Feel the heat in the belly of the muscle. And you're using your free hand as light support, so lift the palms off of the ground but keep the fingertips down. And let's finish off with 2 more, holding open for the last one for 10, 9, 8. Check in with your alignment. Make sure that everything is nice and neutral. 2, slowly close with control. Beautiful work. We're coming onto all fours, so hands beneath the shoulders, and we're going to take the knees just a bit further back from the hips, this time coming into a plank. If this doesn't suit you, you're welcome to come into a tabletop, bringing the knees beneath the hips. Gently pushing through both arms, spread the fingertips and grip into the mat, creating as much space between the mat and your chest as possible, but drawing the belly button into the spine, keeping the hips and shoulders stable, and then gently squeezing through the glutes. That's going to help keep the hips down. And you're looking for loads of tension through your core. If you're doing this from your knees, feel free to stay here, but keep your toes grounded, or you can gently lift into a high plank and hold. So without changing your position, shoulders remain over the hips. I want you to press your heels to the back of the mat, squeezing the tops of your thighs. So your plank is not just a core exercise, it's a full body experience. And you're trying to switch everything on. Stay connected with the breath. And we're here for 10 seconds. Just 10 more. Beautiful work. Stay in your plank, but gently walk the hands towards your feet, grounding the soles of your feet. In your forward fold, bend through the knees, roll up through the spine. Circle the arms overhead. And then sweep the arms back down, roll down through the spine. Set the hands down and walk back out into your plank for your Pilates press up. Squeezing the elbows inwards, bend the elbows, draw the chest down to the ground. Drop to the knees if you want to take the edge off. Push and breathe out through pursed lips as you lift the chest away from the ground. Walk the hands back towards your feet. Roll up through the spine. Circle the arms overhead. Big stretch. Fingertips are alive. Float back down to the ground. Rolling down. Set the hands and walk to the top of the mat. Bend through the elbows. Lower the chest down. Then push away from the ground. Squeeze in the chest and triceps. Walk the hands to feet. Beautiful effort. One more. Roll up through the spine. Circle the arms overhead. Find length through the spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Float. Hands back down. Roll down. Walk out into your plank. One final push-up. Bend through the elbows. Hold. And slowly lower chest to ground. Set the knees down wider than the hips. Gently push back into child's pose. Bring the big toes together. Rest your forehead down on the floor. Relax through the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Feel free to draw some circles with the wrists in both directions. Loosen up and decompress the wrists. I always encourage a little bit of curiosity during your stretches. So a gentle sway through the hips from side to side. Find some stillness in your child's pose, sending the breath into the base of the rib cage. Feel as it expands the belly, stretches out your lower back. And bring your breath back to its normal pattern. With the next breath in, gently walk the hands towards your knees, coming into a kneeling position. Roll the shoulders back and forwards. And relax to conclude. Beautiful work. Well done. Thank you for joining me for the first day of this challenge. Take all the nuggets of wisdom and the discoveries that you found during this practice into tomorrow or whenever you decide to do the next challenge, and really just start to bring everything together as we move through the days. Once again, well done. I look forward to seeing you for the next day's challenge, day 2. Until then, stay blessed. Peace.